If by chance you are dreaming right now, wake up! Welcome to Horror Night! Welcome everybody to Horror Nights. We got two very special guests. For once, I got both actually the director and the producer of the films at the same time. But we got the one and only Prana Sharma. Sorry if I butchered that. And Johnny McConville. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
You know, we linked up about a week ago, and I got to know a little bit about, everything that you guys have done and doing. And honestly, I'm intrigued because there was a couple of really key features. One, the quickness in which some of these things were actually filmed. It's almost a miracle because you hear some. I mean, not that it can't be done, but for most feature-length films, it's not that time.
Yeah, clearly we did it. I'm a testament to be able to tell you, and so is Pranay, that we almost killed ourselves, but we made it happen.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm gonna love to kind of poke and prod on what that kind of schedule must have been like. But let me ask you guys, why horror? What got you into the horror realm? Why this genre?
Pranay, do you mind if I go first?
Yeah, go for it first. I'll go after.
I was lucky enough to have a little bit of a twisted family. So, I mean, I grew up watching every movie that came out to the movie theaters every weekend, no matter what. That was a big thing for me and my dad to do. But me and my mom, for some reason, she loved horror movies. So I grew up like rewatching Christine, rewatching all the Friday the 13th, name it. Tales from the Crypt we used to watch all the time together. It was a weird mix of like 50s TV shows and like ultra horror. So it was like Happy Days, and then we would switch over to like Tales from the Crypt. And then it'd be like I Love Lucy, and then it'd be like, oh, Friday the 13th, the original's on. You know what I mean? So it'd be like this weird jumble back and forth to each other. But I've always just had this love interest for how crazy you can go with the genre. I love that there's not like a certain type of horror. Like there's many types of horror, right? Like when we talk about like love and drama, it kind of gets a little cookie cutter after a while. But horror is one of the few genres I think that we have that still kind of breaks the mold, and there's still things that haven't been done. You know what I mean? There's so much room and there's so much space, even to just take on, like ideas of someone else or like remakes of other things and just revamping them, possibly making them better. I think horror just has that and a huge following. You know what I mean? Everyone loves horror.
Oh yeah, it's almost a universal language, and I had a similar kind of situation with my dad, where he was the kind of one that brought me into horror, and he was the kind of guy that as long as I wasn't going behind the other two doors, I could rent anything in the film. So I was looking at all the horror films, and I would just pick VHSs by cover, and covers were the big seller for me. But I would just grab all these things like Paint Me Blood Red and all these exploitation films, and he let me watch them. It was cool. But you're right. There's really no limits on what horror can do, because what scares you might not scare me, or you might come up with some that might be scary that nobody else thought of before. Sure. And then you have the whole genre of analog horror, which can go so many ways, and it's very vast. I love that horror has so many subgenres, and I try to like touch a little bit of each. Like I like Italian giallos. I like 70s exploitations. I like the J horror and all of that. I like, French extremities films and that kind of stuff. Found footage is other big one, because I've seen what some people have done really cool stuff with found footage.
Oh yeah. It's funny you say Italian giallo specifically, because I mean the two movies that me and Pranay made, as well as the shirt that Pranay's wearing for one of my other films, all very Dario Argento inspired. Dario Argento is a huge inspiration. I married an Italian woman almost for the fact that Dario Argento was so rooted into the culture. I was like, I have to have it everywhere around me. We're naming our baby boy Dario. You know what I mean? Like we're about to have a baby, so it's Italian horror has always been one of the tops for me.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm into it. I live for it. I'm Italian anyways, but just seeing like films, even like Cannibal Holocaust and all the cannibal films that were made, like all the different Italian directors, I find to be a very interesting time period. And their shooting methods, honestly. I understand the animals and all that, but just the fact that they were bringing out reels of tapes on boats to an island or wherever and just shooting, and it's so much different today. You can bring a phone, like you said earlier, and just, boom, get B-roll footage. And back then, you had these big, huge things.
Now I could walk into a restaurant and I could like record like this, and no one really
Yeah.
knows. You know what I mean? Back then, I couldn't do it with my 16 millimeter that I had strapped over my shoulder.
No, not at all. How about you, Prana? What got you into horror? Did you grow up
Ye-
liking horror?
yeah, it's funny. So I always grew up liking movies, and to be honest, I was actually very scared of horror movies when I was growing up. But I always watched. It was one of those things, like when it comes on TV, you watch it, but at the same time, now you're scared to go to sleep alone. Like you always
Yep.
fight through that. Uh, that's why, like, and I always love the art of movies. Like storytelling and visuals. Visually, it's always so embracing to me, and one of the reason I lean more towards horror, because like I think Johnny said, you said it, like horror has so many layer to it. I mean, every genre has different kind of sections, but I think horror itself is like a lot more range, and it connects with a lot more people, because some people may like slasher, some people like Italian horror, some people like supernatural. So there's so much to explore, and even though it may become looks like, okay, it's a horror movie, but there's always something you can add into new, which makes it like, oh my god, that's another new horror movie or new genre. So it always been a very fascinating and I felt like it was more explorative side of horror. So, and yeah, that's where I got. Actually, it's funny. Me and Johnny, when we first met, like that's how we actually become best friends. Like I wanted to be a in the film and filmmaker in the film industry, and Johnny too. First day I asked her like, "Oh, so what do you like to like?" And Johnny's like, "I like making movies." Like, so do I. And literally 12 years ago, that's how we become best friends. And then the whole dream started like, you know what, dude, we gotta make movies, we gotta do this. And eventually we came down to the platform like, okay, you know what, we finally gonna make it together and we're gonna go through this. So yeah, that's the journey I've been on. And overall, yeah, movies are great on his own. Like it's a huge passion for both of us to making movies and telling a story in every different way possible. And I think horror is like one of the medium where we get to experiment and show our additional articular our ways of showing it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's the one thing about horror that other movies can't do, is it can actually cross genres. So you'll have a horror comedy, you'll have a whole slew of
Yep.
horror comedies. You'll
Yep.
have horror science fiction, you'll have movies, like Alien and such.
Yep.
You'll have different assets, you'll have more or less slasher films, and you get more of a drama film or
Yep.
something, that's more like Megan is Missing.
Yeah.
That's not so much of a definite, boogeyman.
Yep. And
It can
that's a
go in so
beautiful
many ways,
and
depending
that's a
on
beau- and
the
that's a
story.
beautiful thing about the horror genre itself. Like you said, like you can put like five different things in there and you can make another new style of horror. It totally depend on your own imagination how you want to
Yeah.
drive the horror. Like Johnny has his own way of driving it, and sometimes I may not even like we had this conversation sometimes. Like I try to listen to like if he has some idea, and like I'm like, huh, never thought of that way. It's like it just kicks you because like it's something, it's been done and it's not been done at the same time, and that's what makes it so interesting about the horror, in my opinion.
Yeah. Some things, yes, they get done and they get done overly done, and then, certain types of movies will just do the same thing and repeat itself until it kind of burns out. But
Hmm.
there is a lot of films that actually just, if you actually look at it, are all brand new ideas. They're just tinkered a little bit though, so they almost seem familiar, but they're actually different, like tales, different stories.
Exactly.
Especially like I said, I've been kind of delving into just I've been diving into the giallos for quite some time, but I've also been diving into the analog horror and just seeing where people's mind go with that, because there's almost like a meta wall in that horror realm where if done right, it breaks into reality and you kind of forget what's real and what's not. Kind of like Blair Witch when it came out and everybody thought, this was real. Um, of course, now with the internet, we can defraud these things, but some of these YouTube channels, they'll put out great analog horror series that are just really captivating. But now let me ask you, so 12 years ago or so, you guys met up, you guys like to make films. Did you guys start right away getting to work? Did you guys have ideas in your head?
So actually, it's kind of funny that you say that because me and Pranay have actually been spending the last 12 years trying to get stuff made, right? So I mean, well, not the last 12 years because we made the Beyond the Gateway about three years ago now. We've just been in post for the last 3 years because of our tight budget. But I mean, when we first started, me and Pranay had like spent probably the first year and a half just talking about it, saying like, yeah, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do this, we want to do that. And then it finally came down to the point where we were like, well, do we have scripts? And I was like, well, I have an idea for a script that I've been wanting to write for years. And then Pranay's like, well, I have an idea that I've been wanting to write for years. So then as soon as that happened, we had like branched off and we were like, okay, cool, let's write treatments. And then we wrote treatments and then we came back together and then we started like talking about the treatments. And then I was like, okay, I think these are at a place where like we can present them, right? And I have a little bit of a background. Before I met Pranay, I was a video editor. So I came down to LA a long time ago. I'm California based, but I moved to LA and I started editing, you know, PA on set, met a bunch of people, and just got kind of like into a really low budget horror movie world. And I had a friend of mine who had known a guy who does low budget horror. And he was like, well, why don't you talk to him? And I was like, okay. So me and Pranay put our treatments together and we tried to get those made, but it ended up falling through. And then life just got in the way for a long time. And then finally we both moved to LA around the same time, a couple years later. And it was like, look, if we're not going to do it, we're not going to do it. But if we're going to do it, we need to just do it now. And it needs to stop being like next year, tomorrow, next year, tomorrow. It's like, fuck it. We have X amount of dollars. And if we don't have X amount of dollars, we're going to do it with no dollars. You know what I mean? We'll fucking make it on our phones. And we'll
I think that's honestly some of the best mentality I have, because I think too many scripts or too many ideas get shelved because there is a tomorrow to do it or next week. And then it just time passes, things happen, people get busy, kids come up.
It was
all
always
this stuff.
It was always trying to find the perfect script with us. You know what I mean? It was
never
always
going to happen.
And then it came to a point where it was like, well, let's write something that we can shoot in just like one location, right? But then that one location would turn into like, oh, well, maybe we'll have 2 locations. And then the script turns into 5 locations. You know what I mean? And then it's like we went from like $1,000 budget to like $100,000 budget. So then it's like, okay, we really got to rein ourselves in and just like, it doesn't matter what the script is. We're going to do it. And once we get the script, we're just going to do it and we're just going to go heavy with it. And whatever we can make happen, we're going to make happen. And whatever we can't, we can't. You know what I mean?
We'll just do the best you can and get it out there.
And the great
it's never going to happen.
Yeah, and the great thing happened, so when we came across these scripts for the, you know, the Gateway, Beyond the Gateway, the whole idea and the mindset at that time, like, because, you know, like, we are 2 very ambitious people who have the love and art for the art and, you know, have the vision that how we going to do this, but at the same time, never done something that big, you know. So, but at the same time, like, when he sat down, I looked at Johnny, like, okay, you know what, dude? We got to do it, whatever we got to do, and let's pick it up. And we ran with it and work it out somehow, you know. That I think, and that's like sometimes like a huge thing about, like, you know, like what Johnny was saying, like, you know, we can just sit down and talk about, and you can procrastinate all day long, but the best thing happens when you actually just start taking action.
It reminds me, honestly, because like I said, I have a good friend and he's made some films and I've done some short stuff, and you know, he's done some features, and we're at a point where we're in that talking and we're like, we got ideas, we got scripts, we're throwing things back and forth. Nothing's really like sticking, but I'm almost at the point like, let's just pick something and shoot it, get it done, shop it around. We can do another one. We can do like a couple short films.
Exactly.
Just, you know, go from there.
I kind of took the Robert Rodriguez approach on this too. I mean, Rebel Without a Crew was like my Bible whenever I was a kid, right? Like from the time that I got my hands on it, like whenever I was in like late high school to like now, like I've always used that book as like a kind of cookie cutter way to be able to get in. And I know it doesn't work exactly like that, but one of the things that I really loved about him was it was like he was just making a movie to go on like Mexican TV, you know what I mean? Like Spanish TV networks. And he was like, and it doesn't have to be good, right? He's like, I just got to make something. And he was like, and if I can cut it together and make it work, maybe I'll make some money on it. Maybe I won't make some money on it. And that's the way me and Pranay kind of were, was like, we're getting to a point where it's like, look, if we don't do anything and if we don't just make something, whether it's shit or whether it's good, which I know it's not going to be shit because me and him care too much, right? It's like, if it's going to be shit, at least we get the first bad one out of the way and fuck it, no one has to see it, right? But if we do it good, and maybe like we do some kind of goodness out of it, maybe we'll be able to get it somewhere. Maybe we'll be able to pitch it. Maybe we'll be
But I mean,
to
even if it does come out bad, I don't really believe in the whole bad film. There's films that have been mixed executed, I'd say, but there's not really, so I wouldn't call it bad. But just face it this way, you're not the only bad film to come out this year. There's been 1,000 others.
Exactly. And you know, like it was the whole idea, like you know, when we're making this, like yeah, it's not about good or bad. We looked at it like, okay, at the end of the day, this will be becoming our first digital business card,
Yep.
like to say that we did something instead of just talking about, oh, we have an idea and we're gonna do it. Finally, we end up doing it. Yes, we're right. There's no such thing as good or bad because in some person it's good, some person's eyes is bad. So it's all about the perception of audience at the end of the day. But the
Yes.
only thing we could control was our action, what we gonna do take to make it as good as possible from our end. At the end, we cannot control the audience reaction, but we can
No, no,
definitely
never
deliver
can.
our actions.
And there will always be critics that won't like it, and there'll always be people that love it, and there'll be people that don't like it just because they don't want to like it. They don't like anything.
Exactly.
That's the internet.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly.
But so let me ask you that you were saying a little earlier that so it wasn't an original script. You got a hold of a script to go with on
Yeah.
the Gates project.
Yep,
How did you
exactly.
come a hold of that? How did you get in contact with the
So
original
you want to talk about David,
person?
Johnny?
Yeah, so I had worked on a film a while ago, probably like early 2020, like 2018, 2019, called Escape from Area 51, with a friend of mine, and he had introduced me to a producer, David, and David does a lot of really low budget indie horror, right? Like he's very
Okay.
big in the low budget world. His biggest one's probably Camp Blood 666. He does like a lot of
Yeah.
these like
Okay.
real quick to produce movies, right? So, I mean, no budget, not a lot of cast, usually not a lot of locations. So me and
Hey, I'm a
Pranay were
Rocky Palmer fan. If I can do it all myself, I'll do it myself.
exactly, and that's kind of the way we are, right? And I mean, you can ask
Yep.
Pranay, and he attests to it. Like we've literally done all post, all pre-production, everything by ourselves. Like we've brought like
Yeah.
maybe one person to help with pre, one person to help with post, maybe two people to help with post, just because I'm not the best sound designer in the world. But it's
Yeah.
like we're doing everything's on favors and a prayer. You know what I mean? Like
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
in
that's the
ourselves.
indie world, though. You make
A-
friends, and you hope that friends to help friends, and then maybe they need
Exactly.
Exactly.
favors later,
And
and you
and
help
it, and
them on
you
a
know
set.
and I think it goes really it works really good, like when people see, like, if you're sincere about your vision and, like, your work, people want to help. And that's how, like Johnny just mentioned, like having no resources, but we're still able to find people to help us with the sound, with the color, anything. Like, why? Because they saw the effort from Johnny, like how much work he put in, how much work you put in. Like, and they're like, okay, we want to be part of it too. And sometimes that's how it builds up on top, like,
And
from the
and that's
first day.
kind of probably that hard work ethic is probably what got you that kind of script, or at least people to trust you with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean when you so we'll get into the timeline of how long we shot him in a couple minutes, but when we started telling people like what the timeline was, we had people hang up on us. You know what I mean? Like we had people like be like, you're fucking crazy. There's no way. I've been in the industry for 30, 40 years. There's no fucking way that's gonna happen. I'm like, okay,
But
cool.
let me ask you: the original director, the original writer of the story, he just didn't want to shoot, or he was looking
No,
for
no,
you
no.
guys to make it.
No, so I mean, so let me go back to that. So the producer that I had met, David, he had a guy that he has, and he pumps out scripts, and he had a 1 and a 2 of these movies, and he wanted to do a part 3 and a part 4, right? Because that's kind of his thing. He builds box sets. He has like this whole cult following that goes for all of his, his series and prequels and threequels and everything,
Yep.
right? So he was like, let's make a 3 and a 4 of a movie that I've already done that are pretty popular, and I want you guys to see what you can do. And he gave us some crazy timeline. He was like, I'm going to give you guys, originally, I think it was like 5 days, and you're going to
Yep.
shoot one movie, right? And then I was like, okay, we're just going to
Two
do the
movies.
part 3. Yeah, no. Originally, he said one, and then he
Oh yeah,
came to
just
me
one.
and
Yes, you're right.
he
Actually,
was like,
originally
okay,
was one.
you guys can do 2 movies, and I'm going to extend the time a little bit. He's like, I'm going to give you guys 7 days. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thank you so much. And I called him, and I was like, well, that sounds great. So he tells me what he wants to do for the third and the fourth one. And I was like, okay. And at first, I tried to pitch him that I could do it because I have a writer that I work with, and me and him are really close. And me and him have like the same kind of Evil Dead mentality, and a lot of things that I do. I was like, this has to be like an Evil Dead style movie, right? That's the way we're
Yeah.
going to make it work. It's got to be like Italian horror mixed with Evil Dead, and I'm telling you, this is going to be amazing. And Pranay was like, okay, I trust you on it. I don't know about that, but I trust you. I trust your vision. So I wrote me and my buddy wrote these 2 really cool treatments. They were hilarious. Pranay read him. He was like dying laughing. He was like, these are going to be so much fun. How the hell are we going to do it? I was like, I don't know, but we're going to make it happen. I sent him to the producer, and the producer's like, absolutely not. I'm gonna have my guy write him. We were way too
Straight
fucking
up out.
we had Cyber Jesus, we had like the devil come back, he was gonna smash it. We had all this crazy shit happen, right? So we ended up getting these 2 scripts, and they were okay because he wrote them.
You remember the
basically.
giant? We were thinking about even a giant fight in the freaking in the
I
middle
gotta
of
You were
remember-
just
Los
going
Angeles.
all out B with it.
We were
Oh, we
going
were going
all out
big.
B-roll.
We
All
were not
out
even
B-movie.
thinking.
Me and Pranay did test shoots to be able to try and sell him on the idea. I did a whole test shoot with Pranay where he became like this gigantic monster, and like he stood up in like this fake city and started knocking buildings over and stuff. And he was like, "No, it's taking too long." I was like, "Okay, well, let's just do what you want to do." So just to get them done, we were like, "Have your guy write us some simple scripts, and we'll just kind of tweak them." So we got the scripts back. We weren't super crazy about them. And then from there, we just kind of our one of our lead actors, Rudy Salo, who played Dr. Zandor, he was like, "Well, I'm a writer on the side." He was like, "I can help you guys kind of make these scripts a little better." We were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And me and him would have workshops, and then Pranay would join, and we would just sit and create backstories for the character and just kind of clearing up all the loose holes. And then we added some things about, I don't want to ruin anything, but we added some like little Easter eggs and stuff between the first one and the second one, so we could
Because
kind
the
of tie
first and
it
second
together.
one were already out, right? At this
Well,
point.
now I call it the first and the second, but yeah, the third and the fourth of the first and the second. So because the first and the second were already out, it's like let's kind of expand a little bit more on the world that he built, and let's make them like even more fun. Let's go a little bit crazy, because I'm always crazy. I'm like, how far can we go, right?
Yeah, I mean, I try to make. I'm kind of like that. Like I try to make a universe. I'm worrying about the guy's mother, his cousin, family
Oh,
trees
yeah.
are in there.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, we started I have characters for other scripts that are like little touched on characters that I'm now adding into this script like later on in post, so that I can kind of build the whole world, and like in a couple other
So
ideas
like
that
a Stephen King sort of way. Then you got
exactly, yeah. So that later on, so if you follow, I mean, my ultimate goal is if people like what we do and if people kind of start to follow us, they'll start to catch this film world that exists, kind of like Tarantino builds like these film worlds and like the reality world, right? Like these film worlds of like these people who exist within like these multiple different films. It's never really talked about in between. It's just kind of like this fan lore that people can like, talk about and figure out on the side. Because I live for that shit. You know what I mean? When I find like, oh my God, this movie's connected with that movie because of this reason, and no one talks about it. It's like this director just inspired from it, but he was talking to the original. You know what I mean? Like these things.
Oh, I
like,
even like in betweens. Like, I mean, they didn't put it to film, but they made a comic in game. But they made a Star Wars movie like thing from episode. What happened between 5 and 6?
Yeah.
So it had the bounty hunter transporting Han, and it showed the whole story.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was enthralled because I always wanted to know what happened in between the films.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see people doing that kind of with horror, or even having a totally different movie,
Uh-huh.
but you'll see, like you said, remnants of, oh, that's part of that film. That's part of this. And I know they just did it with, Welcome to Derry. A lot of loose ends got tied up with that. They really connected the dots for Stephen King with that.
Yeah.
But there's other worlds, like even like, people don't realize that Hellraiser and Nightbreed live in the same universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's awesome though. So but you had 7 days to do 2 films. That's not
Two
so
films.
great, especially
And
after years of
just-
talking.
And
time
not
for
just,
talking was definitely done now.
Yeah. So
I said the time for talking was over now.
Yeah,
Oh,
now
so
it's
the-
definitely time for work.
And so the biggest challenge over there was like, so now we stuck with the our ideas got thrown out by the original producer, so we have to work with his script. And like I was mentioning earlier, like we have a way, like love art, like we still wanted to make something which has a little bit meaningful visuals, and has a good direction behind it. So that's where we like came up with like, okay, Johnny, you go completely in creative side as much as you can without changing anything, because the other guy's a stickler. He don't want to touch his scripts, and I'll go towards the logistics, and we see how we gonna put this together. And that's where we kind of that was like one of the main reason we were able to make the thing possible, because we divided the work among 2 of us, and like focus on each side.
If you don't mind me asking, what did they give you for the budget on both films combined?
Uh,
I don't think we can talk about that right now because we're still at work, because we're about to
Would you say on the lower mid range?
way lower. I mean, lower than what you would ever expect.
Yeah. Anything what you expect.
So like so the cards are stacked against you is what I'm saying.
Oh, totally.
100,
Absolutely.
I mean, let's put it this way. The only people that got paid were like my special effects guy, because he had to buy blood and like organs, and like he had to buy like tubes to be able to like shoot all the blood and shit out, and
Yeah.
extra lens and all that kind of stuff. And my camera guy, because my director of photography, because he brought a camera, and then that was pretty much it. It was like those two guys got paid and no one
And the
else.
light,
Like all
and the
the
light
actors
guy.
worked for free. And the lighting guy, because he brought his own kit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But like
that's
my
it.
sound guy never did sound before in his entire life. So I trained him how to do sound in like 5 days before the shoot. We were doing table reads like every couple days. So I would bring him on and I'd be like, here's a boom, here's the lavs. Everyone that's going to be on the table read today, lav them up, boom them, and just fucking practice, right? And we'll go back and we'll listen to the audio later. So I taught him how to do sound, and then it was like we do. I mean, we were fighting an uphill battle since before we even got the scripts. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It was already 2 feature-length films, so hour and a half movie at the minimum hour and 25 minutes in 7 days, and it was like,
Yep.
you know, you talk to other people.
And was it shared? Was it shared cast? So was it like the same cast for both films?
So we
Some.
introduced a couple new roles in the second part of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, we can call them 1 and 2 now because
Yeah, we'll call them 1 and 2 because of the first two that you guys did. We'll say.
well,
it
but
like
we
that.
also separated from the producer that we were originally going to do these
We
movies
bought the
for.
rights
Now
out.
they're complete. Yeah, so we bought the rights out recently. This happened within the last like probably 4 months. We were
So
going to
instead of it being a 3 and 4, now it's kind of a 1 and 2
It's
of
just
its own
1
thing.
and 2 on his
now
own.
it's just a 1 and 2, which was also kind of my idea from the beginning. So from the beginning, we had talked about if things go wrong, we have to have this in a way where we could break these off and put them on by themselves, right? So like we have to tie them into the first 2 movies, but we still have to have them like non-generic enough to where they could stand alone if those 2 movies decide to go away.
Yeah.
And on if it's like you said bad, it doesn't necessarily ruin the other films.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we were always kind of prepared to sever at any point, and we had talked to the producer about that originally, about like, hey, if these really suck, and if you don't want them to tie into your movies, then we should kind of have like an exit strategy. And basically, the only real tie that we have to the original movies is probably the name of the character. Other than that, the world is kind of built on our own. We put in a new lore, we put in like a new reason why everything would be happening. We just kind of brought that main character back so that we could tie it into the originals. But then, other than that, it becomes its own.
So technically, you could bring back the Jesus and the devil and all your
Oh,
cast if you really want.
we're
to.
the distribution company that we're working with right now, which I can't talk about either. Not anyone super crazy big, but they had to sign an NDA, so we can't talk too much about it. But the distribution company that we're working with, they've already seen. I mean, they already have the first one, so they're about to release. We'll have a release date in the next couple of weeks. The second one, they've already seen a first rough cut, and they're like, "Well, if the first one goes good, we really like the second one. Do you happen to have a third one?" And I'm like, "Not only do I have a third one, I have a fourth one." Because we originally wrote 2 treatments for the third and the fourth now. So now
that you could be now used later.
now we
I
can
love
bring
it.
Cyber Jesus in. Now we
Exactly.
can we have a bunch of stuff for the next one.
And make sure you just said it will be out for release or a release date. Make sure you keep in contact with me because I'm a big physical media collector, so I always like to see when physical media gets released. I love to buy this stuff, keep it. I collect Blu-rays and stuff. But so I talked to a lot of film people. Some of their films are already streaming. Some of them are whatever. But then some of them are still in production or haven't made. And I always like to remind me when they come out because I do want to watch them.
Absolutely.
But now, let me ask you, were you a little nervous, Prana, when you heard the deadline? You get that phone call, hey, we got it, but this is what we got to work with.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts like? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like it goes back to like for 2 of us who never really made any feature in the past, and it's the first time put into the position of director and producer, 7 days, 2 features, and no money, no budget, no resources. So of course it's a uphill battle, and that's it was very nerve wracking. But at the same time, I think like it's like the when we divided the weight of creative and the logistics side, it kind of gives us a little bit room of breathing room. And then
Now, when you say
what
logistics, what were like the logistic roles?
so logistic role, which you so when so me out from logistic was from the producer perspective. So when I was got into my role, my whole thing is like, okay, I have a timeline. I have the product given to us in the raw form. How are we going to deliver it? We have to be very, very strategically smart. Shooting 2 full feature, we are shooting almost 174 pages in 7 days. That's so we have to shoot like almost like 20 some pages per day,
Plus
which on
VFX.
average, huh?
Plus
And
VFX.
plus
Plus
special
VFX.
effects, plus special effects. So it would be easily, we already knew it's going to be long days, 12 to 14-hour days. So so logistically, we have to come up with the idea like what can we cut and save time from. So what we did, the way we put it together, I worked in pre-production that we minimized the locations. Okay, so we shot literally the half of the movie in my apartment. Like we transformed the rooms into two different dorm rooms, a living room, and this,
Thanks to
and
our
then
amazing set designer Richard Calderon, who also did our special effects.
yeah, great
That
guy.
guy,
He helped us so
turned
much.
that guy turned his bedroom into a hotel room, a boys' dorm room, a girls' dorm
Girls'
room.
dorm room and
And
teacher's apartment,
teachers
So so
and a party room,
yeah,
so
everything.
one
party.
location,
Uh,
but at least 7 scenes in that one location.
Yeah,
Literally,
exactly.
yeah.
But
We
that's
even
innovation right
and
there.
we
That's
gone
how you
and we
save.
gone and we gone above and beyond. Like when we thought, like, okay, now we're shooting this. Like this is a college thing. Like we can't really make the college out of my apartment. So me and Johnny actually end up enrolling ourselves into the local city college, become a student, so we can shoot there for free.
But then if anyone asked, it was my idea, right? Because so our lighting guy was like, "Hey, I go to LACC," and I was like, "Cool." I was like, "Could you ask him if we could film there?" And he was like, "Well, you got to be enrolled in a class. I'm enrolled in a class," and I'm like, "Okay, perfect." And he was like, "Well, but that's only me." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What if you get caught running around with equipment?" And I'm like, "Oh, good idea." So the next day, I went to LACC. I was like, "Hey, how do you enroll to be a student?" They're like, "Oh, here's your ID card and everything." And I signed up and I paid for a class so that if anyone asked, they're like, "Why are you filming?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm shooting for Mr. McGurry's class in like A326. We're doing our thesis already." And they're like, "Oh, okay, go ahead. Keep going." And then we could rent out rooms for free and we could do all this stuff for free.
You get access.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that
So
like so
right in
that
the
was
middle
kind
of the
of
7 days, you're enrolling college, you're jumping in there. I mean,
pretty.
that's
Yeah.
wild. That's
and
wild.
and, and you know what and that's why like that improvisation on the last minute helps us so much, keeping a very tight schedule into the limited locations helped us a lot. By having like everything done in my apartment and only in my apartment building, I talked to my landlord, leasing manager, was like, hey, I need the whole hallway just for 5 hours. We shut down everything, we changed the lights in the hallway.
We
And
almost got evicted a week. Man,
almost got evicted because the same day we were shooting, a city guy came by to check the building maintenance and stuff, and like, why these lights are different in the hallway? I was like, so
we swapped out because we
everything he
went
can think of is like going opposite direction, but we
because we
able to
went
put it.
for a because we went for an Italian kind of horse inspired. I mean, Dario Argento does lights upon lights, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We were really kind of trying to set the mood and like experience like emotion with lights. So I had my lighting guy go through the whole hallway and he pulled out every single light bulb and put in all these like different color changed LEDs that we would have to tie into his Wi-Fi.
It's
And then
almost
we
like
would
the
like
Jalo lights. You
yeah,
had to do lighting effects. And
exactly. So like during the middle of a scene, we could like change light colors and stuff like that, and it looks fucking cool, right? But as soon as the city inspector came up, he was like, "Oh, it's dark in here." And then his building manager was like, "You guys didn't tell me you were going to change any of the lights and stuff. You guys are going to get all these lights out of here right now. He's going to come back in 5 minutes." Oh my god, it was crazy. And then we're screaming, cutting someone's arm off in the room, and we hear banging on the door, and we're like, "What's going on?" And it's the same building manager saying, like, "The city inspector's going crazy. You guys can't keep making this much noise. He thinks someone's dying in here." And it's like, okay, maybe today wasn't the right day to shoot, but we got to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. So so those are the things as like a part of logistics, finding a way to compress the whole shoot
at
into
least,
like a very minimal locations with
yeah.
the minimal resources, and you know having it at such a tight schedule was a big
Because you
challenge.
don't have time. You don't have time to go here, there, and everywhere. Travel
Exactly.
time is shooting time at this
and and,
point. So it's
and
like,
the and the craziest thing, we shot whole thing like we did 3 cam shoot for each scene. So we want to make sure everything from the time perspective stays right. So we have 3 different angles. So it's a lot to it's like a layered on top of layered to make it feels like we wanted to make our life harder, but finding a way at the same time to make it easier. So it's like always a constant battle.
so
Like,
then you
okay,
didn't
we
have
can
to reshoot shots though, because most people you could do one camera, but then you're shooting the
exactly.
same scene a
But
couple
then you're
times.
shooting, yeah, you're shooting your wides, you're shooting your over the shoulders. I mean, like I had
Yep.
a plan where I was like, look, we got to get our OTSs and we got to get our wides, right? So I was like, me and my cinematographer will run cameras on our OTSs, and then we'll have one camera set up as our wide. So now our normal 3 takes, if I were to do this with one camera, we're getting 3 good takes. but I
Yes.
can, and I'm an editor by trade, right? So I can
Yeah.
just multicam these in a sequence. I can just like A/B cut these
Boom,
super
boom, boom,
quick,
boom, boom, boom,
and
boom.
then I can,
Sync them
if I
with
don't
the
like the take,
audio.
exactly, sync it with audio. If I don't like the take, I'll just swap those out. But at least I can get a rough cut together like super quick, and we
Yeah.
can start swapping out scenes. So
Yeah.
that was always the plan from the beginning. If I could have shot 4 cam, I mean, at one point in time, we had also thought about getting like GoPros because I had
Yeah.
had this idea of having like there's a character in the movie and I play him and he's called the Guardian, and it's kind of like this over. There's a really good scene at the beginning of Bad Taste, and it's like this kind of motherboard switching thing, and like you have this like mysterious person talking, and he's got like a hook for a hand with like a cigarette in it. It's like super funny, right? And I always had this idea that the Guardian would be watching from afar, but we couldn't get enough GoPros in time because I was going to have them like strapped up in the corners of the rooms. So as we're filming this stuff, we could always use it as a cutaway to like go to the Guardian if we forgot to film something, and he could kind of help clean up those. Like, it's creative filmmaking, man. You know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of cover your ass and be like, okay, if I didn't get enough B-roll, we need to like cut this in, right? So I mean, even towards the end, it was like me patching up shit with like, oh, I had this one shot that I could steal of like someone walking by a computer screen. So now I put a computer screen in there and I completely rotated it out. And then I start adding like graphics and stuff. So now it's like, oh, we have a podcast that goes on in the background that's talking about the kills. So now it's happening throughout the school, and people can hear the news in the background talking about it. You know what I mean? You got to figure out creative ways to be able to like kind of tie things together.
Yeah, especially where like in your case, the time was against you. I mean, you think about you had the luxury of time, you can spread everything, like
Yeah,
you
of
do everything
course.
slow mo. But in this way, it was almost more efficient and quicker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also another challenge, like as Johnny mentioned, like the only people we really paid for this movie is like in the crew, which is like our DP and our light and our special effect guys. So all the actors who were working with us, of course, they were also had no pay there.
Did you give them
And
catering at least?
we
Food?
Yeah,
give the
it's
oh,
everyone.
I
Yeah,
fed them
Okay.
well. I'm very
yeah.
At
proud
least
of
you fed them well.
that.
I know
Yeah,
people that will work for
but
food, so that's good.
at the same time, knowing that like these shoots gonna go over 12 hours no matter what, because we have so many pages to cover, we wanted to make sure like that whoever is we need in the scene, they come and we utilize their time and don't let them stay and linger around for longer if they don't have to, because
If they're
at the end
done,
of the
you
day,
send them
yeah,
home. You let them go
that's
or
why like
whatever.
the arrangement of the scenes, we did it in a way where we don't make any actor feel like, hey dude, I'm spending my whole day here sitting and just for like an hour of a shoot or 2 hours of a shoot, but I'm spending like almost 10 or 12 hours sitting here and not even getting paid. It's like it is a waste of time. So we have to adjust that into the schedule, like so we can schedule the people in the right. So we have all so we created the schedule in a way like, so I have one bed, and it's a 1 bedroom apartment. So my 1 bedroom turned into boys dorm, then the girls dorm, then a motel room. So
Yeah,
we shoot
so
it.
basically it would be like one day all boys dorm room, and then we would
Yeah,
have like the morning split into like boys room day, and then we would have like the night split into boys room night.
boys
So
room
we wouldn't
night.
have to
Yep,
swap lighting. So we could do all of our night lighting set up at one time. We could do all of our
exactly.
morning lighting setting up at one time. Then we had like one room throughout the rest of the buildings, or one day throughout the rest of the buildings. So it'd be like hallway, main party sequence, and that was like the one
Garage,
garage, yeah,
elevator,
elevator,
garbage
all of that.
shoots,
Yeah. So
everything.
we stacked it in a way where like not only were we not moving, but we weren't really changing. I mean, like we were changing minimal lighting, right? Like per the mood, we would be like, oh, this room should be like blue instead of red, right? But it's still the same room. It's just like now it's a different emotion that we're getting. It's a little bit lighter. So we're gonna make
Hmm.
it like green, right? Because they're a little bit happier. Or like it's about to get bad, so we're gonna put it like red and blue. You know what I mean? And we would balance the colors out. So that was really the only shifts that we would do, and then costume changes.
Yeah,
And again, that makes it. I mean, it makes it simple. It's logistical. I mean,
Yeah.
and granted, I mean, people aren't getting paid, but I mean, let's face it. In the indie world, there's a lot of people that just want to get their foot in the door. They enjoy being in a movie. They don't really care so much about the money. They'll take the IMDb credit
That's
and
it.
exactly.
just have a good day. I mean, I've even done a few scenes here and there in a few movies where I need to like some. They need someone to die on a bench, so I
Yeah.
went and
Yeah.
died on a bench.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I didn't get paid. It was whatever, but I got a credit, and it's
Yeah.
okay, cool. I'm happy
Yeah,
with that. I got the experience. I got to
Yeah.
meet another director. I got to be on a
yeah,
set. I got to do this. And I think there's
Exactly.
a lot of people on the, and at least in the, a certain level that don't care. I mean, obviously, if you start going after, Hollywood actors, they're not going to come on for free.
Clear. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
But I mean,
but
that's
that
also
and
one of
that
the good things.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's funny, and we're speaking on that, like, of course, a lot of people would do things for the IMDb credit, but at the same time, I will give a credit to our cast, like, because yes, everybody did came on board, like, it's a part in the full feature, two features at the same time, two IMDb credit, of course, great. But at the same time, when they saw the passion between me and Johnny, and they saw like that, even though it's a very tiny, ultra micro budget movie, but the amount of effort we are putting in to make every single scene and shot look
Oh
best as
yeah,
possible,
I
they
think
they stick around. They put in their additional effort. Like,
that's
what?
the
No,
key. If
let's
you
do
can
this.
get them to believe in your vision and
Exactly.
everybody to believe in the same thing, then it becomes a passion project. People forget it's work. And
Well,
I
that
mean,
was
you can. And
Exactly.
I was gonna say that even about the Hollywood stars. Like, it's kind of true, but not really, because you will see a lot of like for instance, a lot of people that play Jason will do fan films for short money because
Uh-huh.
they see the director's passionate about that franchise.
Yep.
You
I mean,
know,
that's what me and Pranay talked about at the very beginning when we started making these. Pranay looked at me and he was like, "How are we gonna?" Because we started like casting, right? We started looking for crew, and that was the first thing we looked for was crew. And he was like, "How are we gonna tell people that they're gonna get paid no money, but we want people to have experience, and we want them to shoot two movies that's already impossible, and we want them to shoot them in 7 days, and we're gonna be shooting like 20 to 30 pages a day." Plus, on top of that, we're not going to be resting because we're going to be shooting like 12 to 13 hour days. He was like, "What are we going to tell people?" And I'm like, exactly that. I'm like, if we don't tell people that, they're not going to fucking work with us, right? Like,
Yeah.
we got to be like, and that was my thing. Like,
and
I
it's
was,
better for someone to just like to know up front than to come
Yeah.
in and all of a sudden
because
to
then,
Hundred
leave
percent.
mid-scene. It's
Yeah.
like shit.
Us,
because then we
yeah.
get on
Keeping
set,
us
and if
keeping
I
two
didn't
things.
tell people, I'm
Sorry.
sorry,
Go ahead,
I was
Johnny.
like, when we get on set, if I don't tell people like we're going to have 14-hour days, and then we have like one 14-hour day, they're going to quit the same day, right? So when
Yeah.
we were meeting with everyone, I was like, listen, I was like, you're going to fucking hate me or you're going to fucking love me. That's start, right? I promise you, I will give you everything to be able to make these movies. You will get all my blood, all my sweat, all my tears. You will get all the Pranay's. We're going to put our entire body and soul into these movies. But we want the same thing back from you. We're going to work 15 to 20-hour days. We're not going to break. You're going to fucking hate me. I'm going to walk out of this thing with lung cancer because we smoke so much. I'm like, you're may not eat the best food. You may eat the best food. You may have to eat in like 5 minutes. You may have 20 minutes to eat. But we're going to come out of this and you're going to be happy with two fucking movies that you can say I shot in 7 days. And that's what, and everyone, even our assistant director or our cinematographer, he's a professional gaffer. And
Yeah.
he was like, listen, my rate is like over $1,000 a day. He was like, but I don't get a lot of cinematography work and I really want to break into that field. And he was like, I don't know why I trust you guys because I don't think that this is gonna. He was like, I barely made my short for 10 grand in 3 days. And he was like, and we only had two locations. He was like, you guys are talking about doing like six different setups in four different places in seven
Yep.
days. He was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm gonna do it. I
But
just fucking believe in you
yeah.
guys. I just fucking believe in you. And how what was Adam saying? What was Adam saying to us at the end of the shoot? Last
Yeah.
day,
Yeah, I think his best line was like, "Look, we gonna go through this. Either we gonna get fucked on the day one, or we gonna pull something out of our rabbit ass, or pull a rabbit out of our ass." But I don't know why I'm trusting this, but I just feel like I want to be on this ride with you guys because I trust you guys. It
I mean,
seems
I'll be honest with you. You
crazy.
guys have a nice vibe. You guys are fun. I mean, I would trust you to make a feature. I'd kick you guys money in California and be like, here's my script. Make it happen. I'll give you guys
Yeah,
4 weeks. I'll give you a
and,
little extra time
yeah.
and make it happen. No, but
yeah,
like I
and
said, you guys present yourself well, so I can see why.
exactly. And you know what? Speaking on but I think one of the best things, but like once again, I'm gonna go back to this, and a lot of people may not emphasize this part, but me and Johnny being honest from the get go for everybody. Hey, this is going to be a painful ride, but at the end of the day, we promise you, we will give you our 100% if you give us your 100%, and at the end, you will be proud of what you done. This is a guarantee from us, and keeping that honest vibe for them, it made things possible, and at the same time it kind of become a interesting. It was look, I'm not gonna lie, it stressful, hell fucking yeah. Was it long, hell fucking yeah. Were we tired, were we running on a fucking 3 hour sleep and throughout the whole week? Yeah, we were super fucking tired, but the rush we had making this and fun we had, it was something memorable. We will never forget.
Oh, dude.
And that's
No, I
what
mean
built.
that's
That's what
we
made
had, we
these
had
movies.
cast and crew that would come up to me and Pranay every single day and be like, "When did you guys go to sleep last night?" I was like, "I didn't sleep last night," and they would be like, "That's
Yeah,
3 days in a
literally.
row." I'm like, "It doesn't matter. We got to make this happen, right?" And I was happy the entire time because I knew that we were making movies, and that's what it's. Tarantino on set, what does he always do? He's always like, "Why do we do this? Because we love making movies." And it's like that's what I would say all the time because we were making movies. You know what I mean? It didn't
Exactly.
you were.
time, it didn't matter what the fuck happened with it. You know what I mean? It was like, we're here, we're doing it, we're gonna do the best we fucking can, and we're not gonna leave until we do it.
Yeah.
No, I love that. That's the attitude to go if you want to make movies. If you don't, you're
Yeah.
gonna sit around and it's just gonna
Yeah.
sit there. You're gonna stall and you're gonna wait, or you're gonna be like, nah, there's the budget's not right, or we need more time, and then go
Mhm.
back and it's like
A-
no.
And I'm
Sometimes you
gonna,
gotta just go for it.
yeah, and I'm gonna say one last thing on this, like, and this is probably like a message for my future self, for everyone who wants to break in this industry. I think our story, me and Johnny, I think should be a good thing to look at if you ever want to get into this. It gives you perfect example that you don't really need a lot of money, you don't need a lot of time, you don't need a lot of equipment. As long as you have a mindset and a will to do it, you can get it done.
So
And
that
that's what
passion is worth more than everything
exactly,
else.
One,
exactly, absolutely, 100%.
and it
So now let
spreads.
me ask you,
The passion
you
spreads to the
guys,
crew.
you obviously made the movies, and like you said, they're going to be distributed, but you did it under these conditions. Getting that done with all the stress and knowing that you did, but now knowing that you can, on the bare bones, make 2 movies in 7 days. Now you must feel pretty good that you can almost shoot anything.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
Me and,
that's
me and
100%.
we've done that. We've gone to other people now, and we've set up posts for other people, and we've set up principal and pre for people. And we did another movie about 2 years ago with a guy who trusted us, and it was me and Pranay looked at each other, and it was one movie in like 7 days. And he was like, "Are you sure we're gonna be able to do this?" And I'm like, "Dude, we did 2 in 7
Cakewalk.
days." I was like,
Cakewalk.
I was like, this. It was like this is 3 locations. I was like, I could do this. And everyone's stressing out, and the entire time everyone's like, I've never thought anything like this was possible. So we rinse, wash, and repeat with this thing. You know what I mean? Of course,
Yeah.
we don't want to keep doing these movies for like no money and in 7 days because it kills us. But like, can we do it? And are we afraid of anything else? No. You want me to make
Yeah.
a movie in 3 days? I guarantee you I can do it.
No, but then and like I'm thinking there's the people that would be like, even like myself, that would say, okay, you know what? I know you guys can make a movie in 7 days. That's great. And I'll just give you the right budget and the right compensation so that it's worthwhile. And then it's like, well, that's only 7 days of my time.
Yeah.
And again, in a logistics time of view, and what would you rather be spending doing making a film, 7 days or 3 months?
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean,
No.
logistically, 7 days. If we could keep doing it and just get bigger budgets and do it in 7 days, to be honest with you, I wouldn't not prefer
I
it.
mean, obviously,
Maybe-
some things aren't logistical if you're shooting on location and this
Of course.
weather. And
Yeah.
you're going
mean-
overseas and you're going here
Yeah.
and there. But when you start playing in a set and rooms, you can do almost anything if you have the right budget, like you said. And now that you know the timing is there.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I think that me and Johnny had this conversation when we were talking about after we finished these two, and we were just chilling as like two friends and talking about other movies. We looked at each other. We just like, look, definitely want to make a movie. We definitely not making 2 in 7 days. Fuck that shit. But can we do it? Yes. Do we want to do it? No. We don't want to go through it, but we know we can if we want to. That's all it comes down to at the end. Yeah. We know our capabilities and abilities of what we are able to pull it off. But do we want to test it again? Not really.
No.
Let's keep it that way.
It's that one and done challenge. But
Yeah.
you got the achievement award. You got the achievement.
Exactly.
There you go.
The little
We're
thing,
not
get the
looking to
little
break
medal.
records anymore. We
Yes.
did it once.
But let me ask you, you got some stuff in the future coming up too?
Yes, we both do actually. Well, I mean, we're always working on everything together. So yeah, as a company, I mean, and as just business partners and best friends, because we're best friends. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of stuff in the works. Pranay has a script that he's working on right now that we're actually looking for funding. And I think we're going to have a meeting in a couple days about his script. I just gave the same guy my script that I have. We're working on that one, and then I have 2 other scripts in the work that I'm trying to get made too. So I mean, we definitely have stuff.
And once they're greenlit, pretty much you're trying to shoot them all this year?
If I could get all of these greenlit this year, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah,
One of
I
them,
think I think it goes a lot more with like like the finding of funding for these projects, and like the once again finding a time to do it. I mean, we want to do it right. I mean, and of course, the goal is always to make as many movies as possible, but at the same time, we gotta keep it very realistic, especially if we're gonna go with a bigger budget, with a bit more quality and more people involved.
Yeah,
We
you
would
can't
rather
take.
take we would rather take a little bit of more time than like
yeah.
just rush to put out like, oh, 3 movies this year, 4 movies this year. I would rather make like 1 or 2 this year, then make 2 more next year, then 2 more next year. I think that would be a lot more, depending on like how much of push we get from
Especially
the
now at
production.
this point, you'd have more of the control over. You're not really dictated the time. Here, you got to do this. It's like I can
Exactly.
spread out my time, and again, some things you might want to take more time. You've learned how to do things, but there's still things that you might want to go back in these new films and
Yeah.
kind of do a little bit slower or slow down or.
Yeah. I mean, if you run into the situation like crazy producers and no, make me a 4 movies and there's a blank check.
That's
Oh,
what I was just about to say. I was like, well, if someone wants to give me a blank check and they say you're going to make all 4 of them by the end of the year, I mean, that's another test. You know what I mean? I can do it.
yeah.
I know
Now you give me now give us a new challenge. So let's go. Well, let's get back on the ride. Let's go and see where we can go from there. No, but as
Well,
of right now, I think we have like 2 good, very strong scripts in the pipeline, and both of them are in the final draft stage. Johnny's working on his. He can talk about it a little bit. I'm working on mine, and
do they
yeah,
have
I
names? Do you mind if I ask? Do they have names yet?
yeah,
You want to first?
Johnny. Mine is called It Keeps, and Johnny,
It
yours
keeps.
is yep,
Mine's called Dead Weight.
yep.
Oh, dead weight.
And
Nice, nice names.
I am meeting up with one of the big producers over the weekend, and the idea is to push the both and see what the thoughts come from the other side. If yeah, once again, if we go and like, hey, we like both, like the green light for both of them, and so we start working on the timeline that how we gonna shoot two in next upcoming 6 months or 7 months. If they say like let's go one at a time, we go one at a time. So yeah, it totally depends on
It
like
all
the other.
depends if you're going to use the same cast. If you can use the same cast with similar, main stars, then
Yeah.
yeah, you might as well shoot them similar so you can. So logistically, it makes sense if you're having people travel, especially.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
you're in LA. Not many
yeah.
people have to travel far. But I'm thinking like in Boston, people got to fly out here if I start getting anybody that don't live here.
And you gotta fight
Um,
the weather.
Yeah.
and the weather, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, even that one scene of dying on the bench got delayed because of the snow. I had to wait a week. The guy's like, "You're not gonna die today. You're gonna die next week. Sorry." Oh, the weather interrupted me. Damn it.
Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, so yeah, so there's a lot of lot of good stuff coming. As of right now, the focal point is we are almost we the first part is coming out very soon. We have a release date in a couple months when it's coming out, and then we finishing out. Johnny's working on finishing the second. It's in the final stages of post. We just need to finish some sound and couple color, and after that we can start jumping into the next project. And yeah, that the future looks bright. We are super excited, and
That's the
we
one
are
thing I actually enjoy doing. I enjoy color grading stuff. It's a weird obsession, but I enjoy just sitting there tinkering with colors.
We
yeah.
gotta talk. We gotta talk because that's one of the things I hate the
Yeah, we
most.
need one.
No, I
Definitely.
hate it.
I
I hate
just
it.
sit on DaVinci and say, like, how is this gonna look like this? How is this gonna look like that? And I'm playing with contrast, and I'll spend
Yeah.
hours and I'll make different cuts of films just because, even if it's the same show, because like just little nuances change the way
Oh,
something looks.
I mean, Pranay, how did from the first 5 cuts that you saw to the last final cut? Where I showed it, I mean, there was constant times where like we had our first cut, and then after our first cut was done, we had to like do some pickup kills, right? Because we didn't have enough kills. So then we had to shoot some pickup kills, and we had to shoot some nudity. So we had to shoot some stuff to be able to like appease the producers' asks at the time. And then it was like Pranay was like, "How is it going to look?" And I was like, "Dude, they're going to be great whenever I cut him in." I cut him in. He was like, "Wow, this is good," but the movie's still too long. I'm like, "Baby, it's not done. We still got to massage it, right?" I'm like, "I'm just looking for like approval on the bits of the scenes I put in." And then finally, whenever we're about to go into mix, he was like, "Oh my god!" He was like, "I watched the movie last night. It's so tight. It's so clean. Like seconds make the biggest difference." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm telling you, that's the beauty of editing." You know what I mean? We swap
It
scenes
is. I
around.
mean, I've even put out shorts and I'll like let people view it for a little bit, and I'll have other friends that do movies and they'll be like, "Hey, just cut out this scene or shorten this, do that." And I'm very open to shit, so I'll just go back, recut it, re-put it out there, change the color a little bit, call it a different cut, and they'll be like, "Yes, I like that. You're right. That looks better." There's
It's funny, yeah, what Johnny just said, like going from watching this that we shot in raw, and how the first cut came, second cut, that fine until the final cut,
Yeah, bro.
it's such a night and day difference. Like I can't wait every time, and during the marketing, I just can't. I tell everybody, I just can't wait for people to see what we produce,
I'm
because
excited to see what you guys
then
did. Just talking
then
to you, I'm
because
excited.
because then it would add more value to when we say, like, oh, what we were able to accomplish in 7 days with nothing makes 10x 100x difference, because
Oh,
a
100%.
final product, what we see right now, it's unbelievable, which we thought what's gonna be. So
Well, that's what
yes.
I'm saying. I mean, a lot of people right now might be saying 7 days they put out a film, but it could just look really shitty and
Yeah,
everything. But
Yeah,
yeah.
the reality is it probably looks at utmost professional, and people think it took 3 months to make, and that's probably the reality of it, and that's gonna be like the exciting part for me to watch it. 'Cause I know the backstory that this was shot on like super cheap budget and freaking in a week, and all these other things happened, and
exactly.
it'll look professional. You would never know it.
Hmm.
I think that's the magic. Because I mean, yes, there are people that have no budget and have no, and then they do it like they have no budget. And they do it like they don't care.
Yeah.
And the movie looks like it doesn't care, and then the actors don't care. So everything just looks like it's kind of forced to get something out there. But like you said, if you start to tell the people, I'm in it as much as you're in it, and they all start to believe in that project as a whole, you really start to get the cinematic magic within without having to spend all this money.
Oh yeah.
100%. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, like, again, like, I I'm very glad. Like, I have a very good partner, a great partner, my best friend, like, who worked with me on this project, because this project really came to life with both of our effort, but like to making it to the next level, like amount of hard work and Donnie put into the post in the editing. Trust me, like it's phenomenal. I'm like, I cannot be more proud to see what I saw. And as a producer, you watch the whole movie going from inception to the production, post, and deliver. It's kind of like watching a baby growing, and I'm watching the baby growing, but at the same time watching a surgeon who pulled that baby out of the fucking thing. And like that's like, I'm so happy, like the way he did everything, and the way we able to finally deliver what we are about to deliver. We are super proud of it, and words can just define this moment for us.
That's awesome. That's great. Honestly, I believe, like I said, I would let you guys make a film. I believe I can see the passion in it. Let me ask you now. You guys have you got the Rebel Fink production. Does it have a website? You guys do social media. How can people find the products that will be being released and so forth?
So Renee's kind of in
Updates.
charge of that. He's building our website right now.
Yep.
I'm not really tech savvy. I'm tech savvy when it comes to editing, but I'm just lazy whenever it comes to. So,
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So yeah.
so
So we
Renee's
are right.
kind
Yeah.
of.
So currently we are working on a website right now to put together. We do have our Instagram social media page on Instagram,
Yep.
for the Rebel Fink production, where we have some of the screenshots from the movie we shot. So if anybody want to check it out, like, those are the stills from the time of shoots, and like some here and there twinks in there. Yeah, but overall, the goal in next 4 to 6 weeks, have a fully functional, well represented dev website, so that people can go, see us, see our story, what we are about, where we come from, and all our products, what we have created so far, and whatever is coming in future, so people can
In the
continue
future
to
stuff.
keep in touch. Exactly. Yeah.
Do the films have trailers yet or not yet?
We have a partial trailer for the first one that I can give out probably in the next day or two. I just got to
Awesome.
swap out the titles from what distribution asked me to, but we'll have a more professional trailer that's done by like a trailer. I'm not a trailer editor. I'm like a video editor, film editor. So they wanted to do a trailer editor specifically that's going to be doing our new trailer for the release.
Well, it's a
So
little
we'll-
different. You got to make it a little shorter. I worked on trailers and then I realized, yeah, I just made a short film. I need to go back, cut it all down, and start again. I need a little bit something different. But yeah. Um, But that's great. That's great. I like I said, I honestly can't wait to see when everything comes out. Watch these films. And honestly, thank you for coming on, taking the time, explaining. This has been like one of my favorite episodes because it's just such a great story for, like I said, people that want to get in, people that
Yeah.
want to make something. Any, just have that passion. Meet people that also have that passion, and just get the foot out the door, get into it. And I
Hmm.
think anything's possible now.
Yeah,
I
and
really do.
just be honest with everyone. You know what I mean? Like that's I
Yeah.
can't tell you how I can't tell you how many times I've worked with people and they're just like they say one thing and then when you get there, it's something completely different. So it's like that's again like I told Pranay when we first started, we just got to be open and honest with everyone. And you need a
Hmm.
good partner. I mean, if you're gonna do it by yourself, I mean, God willing, try, but it's really fucking hard because I mean, even doing it with just me and him, it was super fucking hard. But I have Pranay who's like never the only time me and him ever had problems was whenever I was like taking long shooting a scene. And I was like, dude, we're up against it. We're shooting 30, we're fucking shooting 30 pages today. And I have no camera rigs. I'm like, I'm handhelding everything. And he was like, we gotta get them done. I was like, I'm trying. That's the only time we would fight on things. It's like he's like, you're like, we can't keep people here for 25 hours today. We got to get them out of here in 10 hours. And it's like, okay, I'm working. But other than that, I mean, I had him back behind me the entire time saying, like, look, dude, if this special effect is going to take you an extra 10 minutes, fucking do it, but do it right. You know what I mean? Like, and I had him there just telling me, so you need a good partner and you need someone to just be, you need people to just believe your vision. So just be honest and be excited. You're fucking making a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what you
exactly,
want to
right?
do. So
It's the
fucking
best
be
thing in the world.
Exactly.
exactly. That's it. And when Tarantino said it best, he's like, you don't have to know how to do everything. You just got to be able to have good people around you that can share your vision. And those
Yep.
people will be able to do what they do best. And I
Yep.
mean, again, it was a lot of me and Pranay in this, but I mean, if we didn't have our assistant, if we didn't have our DP, if we didn't have our lighting guy, Tony, if we didn't have Richard Calderon, our special effects guy, if we didn't have Rudy, our one of our lead actors to be able to help us rewrite the script and take over all that stuff while we're doing scheduling, if we didn't have Joanna, one of our lead actresses, help us do scheduling, we wouldn't have been able to do this. It takes a village to make a movie. And we did it because we had all these people who fucking believed.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what
so even with all this cards stacked against you, you were able to counter that with the right team.
exactly.
Exactly. And I'm a huge believer of that the term called uh it goes like together as your team, like together. Or that only works when you have your actions going like it's like everything's starting to fall in for us for into places when our head got straight and we stick to it and commit to it 100%. If we were not committed to 100%, I guarantee none of those people would be on the page same way. So that's where I goes down to, like, it all starts from you inside. All you got to do, just write. Write every day, write whatever you want to write, even for like 10, 15 minutes. Write something and just go for it and take action. Trust me, may not come out first one good, second one bad, third one, but long more you're gonna try and more you're gonna do it, you're gonna get better. That's the only way to get better. You can read, you can watch videos, you can go to school. That's not gonna make you good at the art. What makes you really good at your art? By keep doing it, by keep failing it. You keep doing it, keep failing, and then one day you will become to the point like, okay, you are a master class.
Like I always
That's
figured, honestly, I could start like I do. Like I said, I do some shorts. I figured I could do shorts. Then I could do it in like an
Mhm.
anthology. Then I could turn an anthology possibly into a feature. And then I could just
Yep.
go from there. And like you said earlier, build kind of a world around everything where at any
Mhm.
point these stories interact
Yeah,
and the characters are the same or interact. And it just I don't know. It's just a lot of fun what I'm doing now, and I kind of like I said, I have that same mentality of just putting yourself out there and just keep trying, keep doing it because,
Exactly.
like I said, like anything, practice makes perfect. That's the only way you're gonna do anything,
Yep.
exactly.
you know.
Yep.
But
I
thank
mean,
you guys for coming
I
on.
mean, we are
I
still, yeah, we are still learning. We done two,
oh,
we done three actually, three movies total. Like, one of them was in Texas. Two of us we made it, and we have more coming. Like, and we're still learning. I'm still
so
like
I
learning every day for the directing. I'm Johnny learning every day about producing, and so it's a learning process. And it's gonna continue going, but that's what gonna make it better.
I don't think the learning ever ends in anything. I believe like
Yeah.
A with technology ever changing and
Yeah.
B just with ways of doing things becoming, you can find a more efficient way. The learning is always there. Like I mean,
Hmm.
you made a great point. I could sit there and do all my shots, or now I could just buy another couple of cameras and set up a couple of other more cameras and get bunches of shots. And then, similar to like when I used to edit wrestling videos, you just switch between the hand cam and the hard cam and you just splice it all in. And
Yep.
so you get all these shots going back and forth, and instead of having to manually film each shot, that's smart to me. That's that makes sense.
I
Yep.
agree.
And it might cost you a little more to buy a couple of cameras, but at the end of the day, it'll save you time.
Yep.
And
It's
time
Hell
is
yeah.
money usually.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like I said, like it is a learning process, though. Even I think best directors. I mean, even if you look at their early works, weren't that good. Nobody put out a masterpiece right off the bat.
Yeah. Exactly.
They just didn't have platforms to show their stuff. So like there was no YouTube to show their earlier works back then. So you wouldn't see it. You would
Yeah.
see it maybe later on a Blu-ray that has special edition and exclusive. Oh, you can check out all their short films. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Exactly.
And you'd be like, oh my God, this is terrible. What is this?
Yeah, but I mean, you learn from that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Ingmar Bergman said the same thing. He was like, if you look at my movies from beginning to now, he was like, my movies were dog shit at the beginning. He was like, they meant nothing. You know what I mean? There was no substance. There was nothing there because I was just a kid making movies. You know what I mean? And then when he got to his finals, he was like, these are my masterpieces because these are whenever I finally got to learn. I mean, look, you're like, I love what you said. You never stop learning. Me and Pranay come from a sales background. That's how we met with each other. And the one thing that we always say to each other always is, if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotten. Right. So if we think that we know everything, and if I say I'm the best director in the world, or if I don't listen to people's opinions whenever I'm on set, or if I don't listen to people's opinions in pre and post, I don't think that I'm doing everything that I can for the feature. I don't think I'm doing everything that I can for myself. You know what I mean?
Because there's always going to be
Exactly.
somebody out there that's brighter, if not right now, in 5 years from now, that comes out that might be better, like a quarterback, right?
Yep.
And you're going to want to learn from them, because even though they're younger and been in the game less, they might be a little bit smarter in what they're doing.
Exactly.
And you just take that.
I mean, same thing with us, right? We had all these people that we interviewed that years in the industry, and they're like, you can't fucking make a movie in 7 days, right? It's impossible. You're not going to make a good movie in 7 days, much less 2. And now we have 2 movies that we're super proud of. That if you show people, and if you like that, we're on a test. When we finish the first one, we'll have you watch it, and we'll ask you how much do you think it was made for, and then we'll tell you what we really made it for. And every single time, everyone's wrong. No matter how low we tell them that we did it for, every single time, everyone's wrong.
I'm surprised, and like I said, with that, like, I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, and I think that's best in the movie industry. I think because, like, even with physical effects, all the effects, people find ways of doing things with whatever's lying around the house to make stuff work. They use cams for sound. They do anything they can do to make a movie.
Look,
And
also, and I'm gonna add into something also. And this is advice for anyone who wants to be in this, in this industry. Today's time is different. Now we have more resources to learn. Like you can buy so many YouTube tutorials, you can read, you can watch the short videos to teach you automatically. Like I was saying earlier, you don't really have to be in the film school to learn to make a movie. You can watch it, and that all that thing is available on our fingertip these days. Back in the days there weren't, right? That's
no,
why there's so much experimentation. Like whoever wants to do it, they're gonna do it, they will fail, then try, then fail to try. Like he was talking about, like a lot of famous but even director. But now we have so much knowledge and material out there on our tips. So if you're really serious about it, go read, watch. I mean, I do it till this day. Johnny does it, and I'm gonna keep doing it, and Johnny's gonna be doing it afterwards too. Because, like I said, like if you want to constantly growing and constantly improving yourself, you gotta keep learning and adapt. Learn and adapt. Learn and adapt. If you don't,
you don't want to stay stagnant. I think
yeah. If you
stagnation's
don't,
never good. You got to be
exactly,
kind of fluid with anything you do and be able to,
100%.
pivot here or there, because sometimes the pivot's going to actually end up with a better product.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
100%.
100%. Could not agree with you more.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. Thanks everybody at home for watching. Check out Rebel Fink Productions. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming. They got the Instagram, websites on the way, movies on the way. Check it all out. Thank you,
Awesome.
everybody, and stay spooky.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much
Jack.
for having us.
Thank you for having us.